everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Violet Ngina. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, like, and share. Let me see. Don't mind what I'm doing. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And as I had said in my previous video, that we will talk about sex. So let's talk about sex. Yes, you heard me right. You know, this is a very hot topic. Many parents, teachers do not love to associate themselves with the topic sex. What is sex? You know, in simpler terms, sex is just about the gender. You're either female or you're male. Simple. That is sex. Today, I want us to talk intensively about sexual health education. You know, our teenagers, we have given them time to do their own investigations to understand their sexuality. And these were duties we are supposed to execute as parents, because sex education is a provision of information about bodily development. This is a time as youths, they develop and they need to know about their sex, about their sexuality and relationships. You know, parents don't like talking about relationships along with other skills that help in building the young people and how to communicate about the sex education itself and make informed decision. That is very important regarding sex and their sexual health. So you find that in many schools, some are privileged to have teachers or visitors who come, or sex educationists who come to educate them about sexuality. But many of our youths do not have the advantage of learning about sex. And that is why in many counties that we have visited during our field talk, we find our youths having unwanted pregnancies, early pregnancies, HIV, AIDS, you know, STIs, gonorrhea, syphilis. How do they get them? Because they are sexually infected, because they did not have information about this. Most of them are affected because of the families they come in, poor families, and when they are going out there to look for ways of helping themselves, they end up indulging into sex to find something to eat or even cater for their siblings and family members. So it is important for us as parents to talk about sex generally. Like when a girl is growing up, you know, I love talking about the girl child. I say this is a girl child education. It's all about this girl child who needs to understand themselves. Many a times you find that these girls are lured into having intercourse, not knowing that when you indulge in sexual activities, we have the pregnancies that come, early pregnancies, you have children having children, we have transmitted diseases, STIs, that are very disturbing and even very expensive to treat. We have kids who are even thrown out of their homes just because they became pregnant. Yet, no one took the initiative to help them understand that these things will happen in one way or another, even when they go to school. In school nowadays, parents, you need to open your eyes, because that is where we found homosexuals, lesbians. These are things that happen. You find that your girl, who was just a good girl, comes home. Nowadays, she's an introvert, doesn't talk to people. She's alone most of the time. Yet, because of the interactions through media, and I love really interacting through the media because everything else has gone digital, they find time to research through and find information about sex, which you as a parent would have already done by giving them knowledge that would help them to make the right decision when it comes to sex. You know, we can have comprehensive sex, or we can talk about abstinence, which is what we, when we were growing up, were told. It was total abstinence, no sex until marriage. That's what we were taught. But it is clear that we cannot tell our children now. Our adolescents are already indulging into sex. So for us as parents, we need to educate them and give them information on how to practice the safe sex if they will have to indulge into it. Most of the time, I tell you, you will not be in the company of your kids. And they'll find themselves, because of the peer pressure, they are indulging into sexual activities. That is, when I'm talking about sexual intercourse, this is the insertion of the penis through the vagina. Yes, because, you know, in school, even when we were young, we were only singing songs like head, shoulder, knees, and toes. Those were the body parts that we talked about. But no one wanted to talk about the breasts. No one wanted to talk about the vagina for us, girls or women. No one wanted to talk about the butts. Nowadays, we have education that at least the teachers are impacting to girls, because we've seen even young kids going through defilement, and that happens through the insertion of the penis through the vagina or even anal, because this is what is real. And we have to speak also in reality. So we have to talk to our kids, even the young ones, make them understand that the private parts are private. No one should touch, no one should see. That is what we tell them. But what happens to our adolescent kids? They've matured enough, they've grown, and they find their friends who already indulge, and they tell them the experience they had. So they will also want to go and try and experience and feel what their friends felt. You as a parent, it is your duty to talk to your kids and make them understand that yes, we have abstinence, especially for us Christian, because you need also to respect yourself. But what happens to the hormones that occur to this adolescent child, and they have the sexual arousal in their body and do not know where to turn to? They will run to their friends, who in turn, if it is a boyfriend, will give them the services that they require. And in that time, pregnancy occurs. They become school dropouts. They have HIV/AIDS, which is incurable. And we've seen our young girls suffering because they are mothers at a very tender age. They have HIV/AIDS. They don't know what to do. Life has become expensive. So what happens? They will only transmit the disease to the other willingly, because that is how they got it. So if we do not open our eyes and open up a discussion with them, make them know that they have a right to decide. They have a right to say no to sex. Because after all, so what? After they've had sex, and then what? Tell them the disadvantages of having sex before time, because this interferes with their education. It interferes if they become HIV positive or they become pregnant. They will be mothers at a very tender age. It is upon us, parents, to give this information to our kids. Take your child, sit down with them, tell them about what they expect out there. It is unfortunate that I had a case of a woman who had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, at home. And because she had not told them about sexuality, they had time to watch a movie. And in it, there was sexual activities that were happening. So what did they do? The 2 of them, they started practicing these activities at home. And the mother was a busy woman. She would leave very early, you know, like we all do. We are really busy working and looking for money, because we have to pay rent, school fees, we have to buy food, we have to dress. So the mother was busy, but a time came, and because she was a very strict woman, a Christian for that matter, she found her daughter pregnant, you know. And when she went to hospital and the procedures were done, the lady was counseled, and she said that the pregnancy actually belongs to my brother. Why? Because they were not given information that will help them in decision making. Now, what happens if you are in a situation of a woman like the one I've just said? You see, we need to help our kids, make them understand sexuality in details, give them the pros and the cons of it, help them know the repercussions of them indulging into sexuality before their time comes. So we have to talk about sex. Gone are the days when we would shy off from talking about the vagina and the insertion of the penis through the vagina, because that is sexual intercourse, which many of our youths have indulged in. And if you look at the percentages of how many youths have HIV/AIDS, it is actually even frustrating to not only our nation, but our world at large. This is not something that is just happening to Kenya, but across the world. All the teenagers, many countries have already started sex education or sexuality in school as a curriculum, but we also need to, as parents, hold hands, educate our kids, impact them with knowledge, make them understand their body system, their body parts, their uses, and what to do and what not to do. It is upon us parents, for sure, to give this girl child education and make them make the right decision when the time comes for them to have sex, because that is where, through peer pressure, through friendship, through bashes, you know, they go to activities that this a birthday party for a friend, and then they get drunk. Before they know it, they've already had sex intercourse. They cannot come to you and tell you, this is what happened to me. But if you as a parent had already informed your children about it, I talked to my kids right from the tender age of 5 years. I had to educate them, told them everything that's needed to know. You know, there is a time my daughter came to me, very young. She's still very young, you know, and she asked me, at that time she was 12 years, and she was asking me, Mom, can I have a boyfriend right now? And I wanted to know what exactly does she mean. And she told me she has a crush and she loves the crush. You as a parent, what would you do? So you see, you have to tell your child the information they need to know about sexuality, the disadvantages and the advantages of the same, so that this girl, when they go out there, whatever decision they will make will only lead to them standing firm in knowing how to live life among their peers, and pressure will not be part of their lives. So until next time, see you right here, and remember to subscribe. Bye-bye.